It's match preview. Aston Villa, West Ham. The second time we played Villa in the space of a couple of weeks at Villa Park. Of course, the first one was the FA Cup, which we eliminated 2-1. So this time, revisiting same stomping ground in the Midlands. Very tough game, as expected. Well, it's always going to be, isn't it? Against a team like Villa who are doing so well at the moment. Both domestically and in Europe. But we'll come to them in a minute. Before I do, if you're new to the channel, do subscribe. Really appreciate it. And also hit that like button. Really does help us out. Helps us grow. So yeah, we really do appreciate everything you can do to help us do so. So one thing I just want to say, the reason I'm a little bit distracted slightly, because it does appear that there's possibly something happening with Tim Stuyton at the moment at the club in terms of him possibly leaving and it being confirmed. I've talked about it quite a lot, that I expect he will be gone very soon, but it could well be that we might just do another video about that soon. So I'm just I've noticed this news is starting to break a little bit. I've had a couple of messages about it, so we're going to wait and see what's actually going on there. But it might not be true, so let's wait and see how it pans out. But I suspect he will be going very soon. Let's talk about Aston Villa before we go on to West Ham. They've just come off the back of a defeat in the Champions League, 1-0 to Monaco in the week, which has actually dented them in terms of progressing automatically. I think basically what they need to do now, they need to beat Celtic in their final game to guarantee a chance of the opportunity to go through to automatically to the next round. It's a fantastic achievement for Aston Villa. Let's make no mistake. It really is. They've done so well, considering the fact that when we appointed David Moyes the second time round, which when you think about it, wasn't that long ago, Aston Villa, were in the Championship. You know, it's amazing how well they've done. It's a fact that they've maintained this as well. They've had a great season last year, got into the Champions League. And not only are they doing well in the Champions League, but they're vying for another top 5 finish this season. That's obviously what they would want to get that Champions League spot. I think it's going to be the top 5 this year for the Premier League. So they've got every chance to get in there. They really are. I know they've struggled a little bit this season, not quite as good as they were last year, but they are still very good. And considering the fact they're balancing domestic and European football, I think it's very good. I think we've seen the effects that has had on certain clubs. I think West Ham handled it pretty well, to be honest. I was quite surprised how well we did when we were in Europe for those 3 seasons. But this year, you kind of notice it with Villa. But yeah, they've been great. They really are. I mean, their Premier League form is very good still. You know, played the last 6 games, they've won 3, drawn 2, only lost 1. So they're in very good form still. We know how difficult they can be. They've just got so much quality, don't they, in their side? So even when they're not playing at their best, they can still grind out results because they just have that ability in the players they have just to snatch those results. So very, very impressed with Villa. And what I like about Aston Villa as well is the fact that they're just so ruthless the way they go about their business. I envy it, you know, that they're just slick. They know what they want to go and do. They get it done. And I think they're a very well-run club, and it's good for football. It's good for football to have clubs like this that are muscling their way in and getting in the Champions League. And not only they're not there just to make up the numbers. You know, they're in there to do well, and they're going for it again. And bloody right and all, it's boring having this Big Six, the Sky Sports Big Six, what you want to call it. You know, that always seem to be dominating that top part of the Premier League. It's just it's good to see it. And obviously this year we've got Nottingham Forest in there as well. It's what you want to see, you know. It shake things up a bit. Yeah, knock that cartel out the way. Do you know what I mean? So fair play to Aston Villa, because you know, you see them doing so well, and you just think, well, this is what West Ham should be aspiring to do. I've always been impressed with them. I like the way as well they handled the manager situation when they brought in Jarrod, and then went and got Emery, who's been a brilliant manager for them. And obviously they've got littered with quality, haven't they, in their squad. Of John Duran, obviously, is a sort of main focal point at the moment, especially in terms of West Ham, because of us being so close to getting him last summer. Well, when I say so close, it was just shambles how we dealt with it, really. And then we've decided to repeat it again in January. We're going in with a ridiculous bid, 57 million quid. Really poor offer, considering the fact that we knew that they'd rejected a 70 million euro offer. I think it might well have been from Barcelona, maybe. I'm not quite sure. PSG, possibly. I need to get my facts straight on that one. But a big club came into Aston Villa, tabled that kind of offer, and they rejected it. West Ham were very aware of it, very aware of that value, and then they decided to go in even lower. Really poor. Not impressed. And Duran has already made his feelings clear. Apparently, he wouldn't want to come to West Ham anyway. Apparently, he was humiliated in the summer. You know, he felt that West Ham had assured him the deal was going to get done. It was all kind of moving forward. Then we hit the brakes on it because we wouldn't comes to the Villa's valuation. It's the whole thing with Duran's been a bit of a mess, to be honest. And what annoys me is we've now gone in and done all this again quite publicly, right ahead of playing Villa again, like we did last season. Do you remember their first game of the season? Sorry, last season, the beginning of the season. Their first game of the season was against Aston Villa, and we had all this drama with Duran. It was just inevitable he was going to get the winner. And lo and behold, right before we were about to go and play, and we're doing it again. So it's just, it feels like it's written in the stars, doesn't it? You know, you think, here we go again. West Ham typically doing things poorly in terms of PR and dealing with other clubs and players. We're just not very good at it. I talked about this in the previous video in regards to the transfer update, and just don't like the way we're conducting ourselves, to be honest, in this transfer window. It's not good. But Villa, you know, Duran's, I say, Watkins, they've got Rogers, Anana, they've got Tillemans, they are littered with quality, very, very good squad. And I admire them, just really admire them, like watching them play as well. One of those teams when they're on, you just enjoy seeing them play, they go for it. I'm just, really impressed with them, fair play to them. I like the fact they're maintaining it. That's the bit I like. It wasn't just a one season wonder where they've done all right and then they're falling away. They look good again and they're going to be vying for European football. So fair play to Aston Villa, because this is where West Ham want to be, you know, and we were there not too long ago, and we will be hopefully muscling our way back in the not too distant future under Graham Potter. Let's hope. So, fair play to them. But I think it's going to be probably not a bad time to play them. Probably not the worst time to play them. Just they're coming off the back of a defeat. You know, that's probably not their confidence a little bit. Of course, they've travelled as well to Monaco, they're training back. So probably, and West Ham have had a full week on the training ground. So let's hope that we can go into this game with our towels up a little bit and can catch them out a little bit. And they're, as I say, confidence probably a little bit shaken slightly from that defeat. So let's hope we can capitalise on that. On to West Ham. This is big news. I've just watched the press conference with Graham Potter, who provided some very interesting updates in terms of injury. Let's just get straight to it. Jarrod Bowen. I think he's going to be playing in this game. I think he's going to be featuring, not necessarily starting, but I think he will be available. We were told this quite a while ago that Villa was the game they wanted him to get. They felt that he could be returning for. It appears to be the case. He's been training with the West Ham team, first team this week. Potter's hinted, we don't want to rush him. We're going to have to assess him. But the fact he said, "Oh yeah, we've got to play. We've got another day with him tomorrow, working on the training ground." I've just got the feeling, you get that hint. You think, I think he's going to be involved somewhere, which is going to be a huge boost having Bowen back, not just for his quality as well, which is obviously we've missed it terribly. But having your captain back, you know what I mean? It's a big boost. So I'm really pleased, really excited by that. And Summerville as well. Summerville looks like, again, he kind of hinted, not quite sure, but I get the feeling we're going to see both those players at some point this weekend. As I say, whether they're going to be starting, it's hard to say at the moment. I think that might be pushing a little bit too far, especially for Bowen, obviously a fracture. But I get the feeling we will see both of them players in the squad this weekend. I bloody hope so. I'm going to do my team based on the fact they're both available. Okay. So that's how I'm going to try and play it, to give us a few more options as well, to try and cheer me up when doing the team. Apart from that, we've got Mavropanos is suspended, of course, getting his second yellow card against Crystal Palace in the defeat against them, which we need to see a response. I'm really happy with Graham Potter, I've got to say. I really like the way this guy's conducting himself. I like the way he talks to the players. I like the way what I'm hearing about him as well in terms of the response from the squad. Apparently, they're really pleased with him. Apparently, he's very popular and he puts an arm around the players, especially the academy boys. That is one where I'm really pleased to see, because that is something we have lacked for quite some time. David Moyes was not one for really dealing with much of the academy lads. He was more focused on the more senior players and didn't really give them opportunities. I felt Lopetegui was pretty similar, really. And obviously Lopetegui had proven to be quite difficult to get along with and understand, as well as that sort of stuff. So it just feels like a breath of fresh air for everyone, and especially the younger lads. So I'm really pleased. This is a tough fixture for Potter. Obviously, he already played Villa away, and it's a shame, we could have just done with a team possibly that was a little bit less so. We felt like we could go and grab some points this weekend. But look, it is what it is. West Ham have got to raise our game here, because it's a big opportunity for us. We really need to sort of get some belief in for the second half of this season. And I feel like with a week on the training ground, I'm hoping we're going to see that kind of a little bit more of a strategy and coherence between the players, and see the message, what they're trying to get across, because Potter's obviously going to try and implement now his style and his tactics onto this side. It's not going to be easy. And I felt for him really coming in and having 3 games in the space of 8 days is very tough. Now the fact we've got we've had that full week, in fact, an 8-day period now to get the between matches, I feel like could really help Potter work with the players. So be interesting to see how we set up, how the players react, and the instructions, and feel like see how comfortable they are in their positions. Because obviously the performance against Palace was flat, and it was one that the players looked tired. And it was hard. It was a difficult game, obviously against a team that are in good form. So it's going to be an interesting encounter, this one. And we need to see a response. You know, that was a game that really deflated quite a lot of people. So it'd be nice to see West Ham really respond well to it and put in a good performance. It's going to be a tough occasion, of course, but I really do hope we can sort of lift to those levels we expect to see at West Ham, because I feel like these are sort of games where if you are to go and get a result, if West Ham are going to go and get a result, let's just say, it would just give everyone such a big, huge element of belief going into these, like the final half of the season, second half of the season. It's you know, tough encounter, tough game to go into against a team that are doing so well, obviously Champions League football and everything. But I do feel it actually presents a bit of an opportunity for us, as I say, as well, with them going into it feeling a little bit bruised. There he goes, bruised a little bit from the Monaco defeat. So let's wait and see. This is my team. As I say, I'm going to allow for the fact that Summerville and Bowen are available. That's what I'm going to go with. Okay. I'm interested to know what your thoughts are on the team. I'm interested to know what your thoughts are on terms of a prediction as well for this game. I appreciate it's not easy, is it? Because it's still so early in Potter's reign and everything's a little bit all over the place. It's hard. One, with team selection is really difficult, but two, like having that sort of confidence to go in and say, yeah, I really fancy this. It is a little bit difficult at the moment. I do appreciate it, but I'd be interested to know what your thoughts are. Right, this is what I'm going for. I'm going to adopt the same setup as what Potter had in the game against Palace in terms of formation. If there's any way you can do it, it's very difficult, isn't it, to see exactly what we're going to be playing, because we're just not quite used to Potter yet. But this is what I'm going for. I'm going to go for Lucas Fabianski in goal. My back three are going to be Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Kilman, and Creswell. Obviously Mavropanos is suspended, so he's not available anyway. We know that Tadebo's not available. I just feel like I'm more comfortable knowing that Aaron Wan-Bissaka's there, playing a more central role alongside Kilman. He's got that experience of being there, and I just feel like it would be a better fit there. Creswell, he's got enough experience working as a more central left defender. I just feel like that would be a better option for us there. So yeah, as much as I've been so impressed with Ollie Scholes, I wanted to put him in there. I do appreciate it's a tall order, and obviously I say a tough game as well. It's a lot to ask, I think. So I just feel like a bit more experience in there might be necessary in this game. So yeah, back three will be Wan-Bissaka, Kilman, and Creswell. For my wingers, I'm going to go for Jarrod Bowen out on the right and Summerville out on the left. I appreciate they sort of had to operate a little bit as wing backs as well, but I don't want to not have those players available. I feel like we really need them in the squad. So I'm going to go for Bowen on the right, Summerville on the left. I'm going to have as my two central defensive-y kind of midfielders are going to be Alvarez and Paqueta, but I'm going to obviously, with the allowance that Paqueta can roam forward at times as well. In fact, I'm going to make a change to that, actually. I'm going to make a change. I'm going to have, actually, Alvarez and Souček playing as the kind of more defensive-minded midfield. And up ahead of them as the pair ahead will be Soler and Paqueta, with Mohamed Kudus playing as number 9. But again, there will be a sort of opportunity here for these players to rotate. Of course, you know, Bowen coming inside as well. You go Souček advancing at times, coming away from Alvarez. So there's going to be a bit of flexibility with that. But that's the team I'm going to go for. So just to quickly go over it again, it'll be Fabianski in goal, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Kilman, and Creswell as my sort of back three. I'll go Bowen out on the right, Summerville on the left. The defensive midfield are going to be Alvarez and Souček. Attacking midfield will be Soler and Paqueta, with Mohamed Kudus playing as a striker role, really, but with freedom to roam. That's what I'm going for. That's what I'm going for. I'm not confident. I'm going to be honest. I don't think anyone really can be at the moment. It's hard to be confident, isn't it, going into watching West Ham play? But I am hopeful. I think that week on the training ground, I think will really help. I think having Bowen back in the squad, Summerville back in the squad, really give everyone a bit of a lift. And the fact that Aston Villa have travelled, they've had a defeat away in the Champions League to Monaco. I've got the feeling we might get something here. I've got a feeling we might be able to grind out a result. I'm going for Aston Villa 1, West Ham 1. I'm interested to know what your thoughts are. It's a big weekend, and it's one that if we can get a result there, if West Ham can bloody get a result there, it kind of it gets rid of that Palace defeat, and again it just breathes a bit of life into the season, a bit of belief going into that second half of the season, which we really need. So let's hope we can bloody go and do it. Let's wait and see. Come on, you irons.